Welcome back to Adventures with Rosie. Now over the last 6 months we've had a bit of a backyard money making side hustle going on here on the land. We've been growing a load of these to try and make a bit of this. But let's jump back 6 months till last year, spring 2023. We'll talk about how this idea came about and also look at some of the weird and wonderful varieties of pumpkins we've been growing. So why on earth are we planting pumpkins? Last year in the corner of our property we had a random, like way down the back, we had a random pumpkin patch pop up. We had a whole lot of brush there, branches from trees, and some pumpkins appeared, some crown pumpkins. And to the point where by the time we realized they were down there was probably 20 or 30 growing. Chelsea had the bright idea of giving some to family and friends and then putting the rest at the gate and selling them for $5. We were coming into winter, things were getting colder here, pumpkins were insanely expensive at the supermarket. So we put these big, beautiful crown pumpkins at our gate on a pallet, $5 each, and they went within like an hour. We had people calling us, do you have more pumpkins? I need 5, I need 10. People were coming up to our house. We just put a post on Facebook and all these people came over and bought the pumpkins. So we thought this year, let's step it up, let's go crazy, let's plant more pumpkins. I'll show you in a sec where we're going to plant them. But Chelsea went online and bought a whole lot of seeds. She's glaring at me. A whole lot of different seeds of pumpkins I've never heard of. Austrian hulless, blue Hubbards, I guess that's blue. A triamble, which apparently is 3 pumpkins in one, triangle shaped. Got some crowns, some butternuts, all sorts of New Zealand heritage pumpkins as well. And Chelsea planted these in seed trays. They've been living in our bathroom on the windowsill. They then migrated to bigger pots. They were living in the bath for a while. You had to take them out when you wanted to shower. I think I might need to buy Chelsea a glass house next season to raise these in. But now we have probably the best part of 20 or 30 plants like that. And these ones are actually starting to flower already. So these have been grown from seeds. These beautiful things here. This is a blue hulless, Austrian hulless, whatever that is. I'm quite excited to see these. So yeah, they've been growing like crazy, and I guess because our bathroom gets a lot of sun and it's kind of, humid after you shower and things once you move all the plants out, they've been growing really well. So the plan is to go down the bottom, and we've got a pretty exciting idea of where to put these pumpkins. These are going to be not just hopefully bring us a bit of pocket money for some holidays next year, but also help us with a problem we have down in the paddock. And that problem is this pile behind me. Now if you've ever watched one of our property videos, I think every video I talk about this pile. So when we had all our big pine trees cut down here, we had about 50 odd big pine trees cut down. They scraped all the sticks up, they threw them into a pile. What they also did when they scraped all those sticks up though was they scraped a lot of the topsoil down here. And so what we actually found out in this pile, as it's sort of been breaking down over the last year, it's not just sticks and pine cones and pine needles. There is loads of awesome looking topsoil in it. There are big fat juicy worms in it. And this back half of the pile here is pretty much all soil with sticks through it. So what Chelsea's actually been doing, if you can see down here, she's been raking this pile out and she's made this beautiful raised mound here, which we've just had covered in black plastic to kill the grass. We're going to plant some pumpkins on that, but we're also going to plant some in this pile. So we're going to terrace off some areas of this beautiful primo soil in there. It's still got a lot of small sticks, a lot of pine cones. There's a bit more wood sort of over the backside, but the plan is to terrace bits of this pile off and plant pumpkins and go crazy. I want these pumpkins over the next sort of 6 months to just break down this pile. Pumpkins are they're very hungry plants, they like to feed, and that's why they often pop up in piles of brush and sticks and things like that. So I think this is perfect. 2 birds with 1 stone. We grow some pumpkins, make a bit of pocket money, and we hopefully bring this pile down a bit. Now, I've been sort of dreaming and thinking it would be cool if these pumpkins just started growing out all over this paddock. I'm really not fussed how much they grow over the next few months. I might eat my words in a couple of months. But yeah, this pile, hopefully, it's just going to start eating away at the pile rather, and just start breaking it all down. We're thinking if it works well, we might do a couple of seasons of pumpkins and really get this pile down. and then we're going to work some of this beautiful soil back into this paddock because it's a bit lumpy and bumpy now. That's the plan. We'll see if it works out. We'll get into some planting.
I'm driving, yes.
What are you doing? Are you rolling? What are you rolling in?
Alright, first one planted, and we've got about 20-30 more to go. We're just going to cover this bank, aren't we, Chelsea? Wherever we can find some dirt, we're going to put a pumpkin plant in, see what happens. Well, that was 28 pumpkin plants we just planted. We planted about 20 of them on the pile, some on the top, some on the sides. We're due for a lot of rain this week, or a bit of rain and nice warm temperatures. So hopefully good growing conditions for them. Yeah, I think Chelsea did an awesome job. They were all planted and raised from seeds. She moved them out of the bathroom each day, onto the deck, back in at night time. And yeah, the nice healthy looking plants had good roots. We put plenty of food and stuff in the holes as well. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we will catch up 2 months from now. So this is the end of October now. Let's catch up just before Christmas and we will see how the planting's going. And then after that we'll jump forward to harvest time. Alright, so we are 2 days out from Christmas and look at these pumpkins. They are getting huge. We had a little bit of a rocky start. About a week after the last lot of clips you just saw, we had a frost, like out of the blue, end of spring, like coming into summer. It got down to negative temperature here. It might have got down to 1 degree, and a bunch of the pumpkins died. The leaves were black. We plucked all the leaves off and some regrew, but we lost a few plants. So it's probably lucky that we planted 28 plants. We lost a few. Chelsea replaced a few with some other seeds she had, but some of them are going crazy. I mean, that is one plant there, and that is meters across now. The ones on top of the pile are doing awesome. You can actually see them from our house. They're starting to get flowers, they're starting to get little pumpkins growing, so I'm excited. I want to see this whole pile covered. That's my dream. All that covered in pumpkins. So I'm going to go and enjoy Christmas now. I'm going to go and eat some ham and have a beer. And let's catch up in a couple more months and see how big this one is. So 6 months later, we've got some ripper pumpkins. This whole pile was covered. We're starting to get cooler weather now. We're getting closer to harvest time. But yeah, that whole pile was just covered in them. I mean, look at these monsters. Also got some beautiful looking ones like that. How cool is that? We've got some Austrian hulless in there that were not quite ready to be picked, so I can't show you on camera, but they are mammoth. They are like, they're bigger than that last one I showed you. We did have a problem though. We actually had a couple of problems. The first was that the weather, the summer we had here in New Zealand was a little bit odd. It was hot and dry, and then it was raining, and it was hot and dry again. And a lot of the people we sort of follow on Facebook pages and groups trying to do what we're doing were sort of saying they had weird sort of crops. We've also now gotten to some really cool weather here in Taupo. We've had our first frost, and so there are some pumpkins there that are still trying to grow, but the vines are starting to die off, which is usually when you harvest the pumpkins. The other problem on this pile was this white flower, this weed. I have no idea what this is. If you know, let me know in the comments. This grew up and just covered this pile of pumpkins. And Chelsea went in there and ripped a whole lot of it out, but I think this might have sort of suffocated it, slowed it down. I also dumped some lawn clippings around the bottom, some grass clippings, and maybe that wasn't the best idea. Chelsea told me later on that actually sucks a lot of nitrogen out of the soil. But I think all in all it was a pretty fun little project. The plan was to, you know, do something with this pile, which is still huge in my mind. We were going to get 1,000 pumpkins that were going to break the pile down into nothing, but it's probably going to be a few years of pumpkins, I imagine. They seem to feed off this pile well. They have been breaking it down. So yeah, I'm happy with it. They kept some of the weeds at bay, and A lot of the nightshade that was popping up was kept at bay, which was good. So now it's harvest time and figure out, did we actually make any money off these pumpkins? I guess it's kind of a volume thing, right? We can't sell pumpkins for $20 each. We might sell them for $5 or $6 or $7. So we need to get a whole lot of pumpkins hopefully out of here to make the numbers work. It didn't cost us a lot other than our time, and by our time I mean Chelsea's time, raising all those seedlings and getting them all going. So that'll be the next video. We're going to get into the harvesting some now. We're going to harvest them over the next few weeks. We're going to store some of them in the shed for a little bit of time, and then we're going to put them at our gate, put some signs out, some posts on Facebook, and kind of figure out what we made. What can we sell them for? What was the grand total of this pile of pumpkins? So stay tuned. Next week I'll share that video with you and see if we've made any money. Thank you for watching.